Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Luke Ness Monster. Today I'll be reviewing the Star Wars The Black Series knockoff AliExpress clone troopers. So these aren't real Black Series figures, they are just knockoffs sold on the website called AliExpress. But they did go ahead and make 3 brand new clone troopers that Hasbro hasn't made yet. So these are all named clones from the Clone Wars, and Hasbro hasn't gotten around to making these clones yet, so AliExpress actually did it first. Now, I just want to go ahead and put out this disclaimer. There is kind of like an ethical issue when you have to think about when purchasing knockoff figures, because these figures are illegal for the seller to make. They are stolen molds from Hasbro, so they do use Hasbro's molds, but of course they're stolen. So they're perfectly legal to buy, but for the seller actually making them, it is completely illegal, and they are stealing Hasbro's molds. So like I said, there is kind of like an ethical dilemma there. I only bought them because I wanted to review them for you guys and let you guys know if they are worth buying or not. So I just wanted to put that out there. Take that how you will, and put that into your decision if you want to buy them or not. But now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and just jump right into this review. So first up, we are going to take a look at Jessie, and I gotta say, I think this one is my favorite of the 3. I really do love the helmet decal here. I think it looks great. The Republic insignia looks really good, and the paint apps on the helmet overall are really, really solid. And then you do have that classic, Hasbro, no weathering, but you do have the paint chipping all the way down. You do have the correct stripes on the armor. All the armor does look accurate. I did kind of try to source compare it to the show, and Jessie does look the most accurate out of the 3, and I really dig how this guy came out. I even love the detail they added onto the knee pads here. Even the shins here, they went all the way around on the printing. That's something on Hasbro's ARC Trooper Jessie they didn't do. They stopped at the front, and it should go all the way around. So the AliExpress figure actually did better on that front as well, which is really interesting. But here is a close-up of the helmet, if you guys were wondering. There does look to be some little black spots here and there. I'm sure they'll probably rub right off, but it looks like it did ship with those on there. But overall, it's pretty good printing, I will say. It feels good quality, and the printing looks good quality. Next up, we're going to look at Appo, and this guy actually looks really good as well. I think it's really interesting to see the helmet here on this guy, where they actually, printed on the paint chipping compared to all the Hasbro ones. They kind of almost, just don't print the blue there, where this one they actually printed the white over top of the blue is what it looks like, but this one does look really good as well. Overall, the printing looks pretty solid on this one, and I think it's interesting to see for this AliExpress clone, it actually has all of the paint chipping as well. I own one of the other 501st ones. Now, this one is one that I did buy for a custom, but as you can see, there is no paint chipping on this guy, so it is interesting to see that. As well as the difference to the back here, you can see the difference between this blue box compared to this one. So really interesting, but overall I think this Appo does look really cool. And here he is next to the other AliExpress Sergeant Appo, and I think they both look pretty cool. This one obviously does have the clean paint. This one has the battle damaged paint. I know this one's based off of the Clone Wars, so I'm really digging that, obviously, with that arrow. But this one, I'm not sure what this is based off of. I already did kind of review this in my Wax or Boil video, so make sure to go check that one out. It'll be pinned in the card and linked in the description. But if you guys know, let me know down in the comments, what is this Appo based off of? Because he didn't look like this in the movie. He didn't look like this in the Clone Wars. Why do people call this Appo? Because I've never seen him look like this. But either way, these are technically the same character, and they still look great together. So, yeah, pretty cool. Now, I will say, one interesting thing about this is they did include the holsters on the belt for the pistols, but in the Clone Wars, he doesn't have these holsters, so I'm not really sure what the addition of them are. I actually really like the addition of it, and I think that's a welcome change that I like, but it isn't actually accurate to the Clone Wars show, so I thought it was something I would point out, but it's just a little interesting to me. And then obviously next up is Hardcase. I think this is the one that most people were anticipating. And I gotta say, this one does look really cool. But there are definitely some printing errors on this one. And it's also the least accurate version to the one in the show. For starters, this chest print is not accurate. It should go up to here up the side and then in, and they kind of just like skipped half of the print there. I'll show you guys a comparison here in a second. It's not a big deal if like I didn't tell you that, you probably wouldn't have even noticed, but I do really like the addition of the blue paint on the belt there. Pretty accurate. I also do love this minigun. Minigun looks super cool, and this is like an accessory that Hasbro still hasn't done yet in the Black Series, so it's really nice to see the AliExpress figures do it. Even around the back here, love the paint on this. This is all accurate. And then the helmet, I think for the most part, the helmet does look really good. They did do the black line rather than the blue line, but it's these two side stripes. Yikes. Not printed straight at all, and I know that's not just mine, because at first I thought it was, but then I actually looked up the figure on AliExpress, and I'll throw up a photo right now. It has that exact same print on the photo they showed on AliExpress, so I think that's just more of a manufacturing thing, rather than like an error. And here's actually my custom hard case that I did end up decaling, and as you can see, this is the accurate chest thing, where it kind of goes up, over, and then over. This one kind of skips some of those steps. I think they both look great, and like I said, if I never pointed it out, you probably wouldn't have noticed. And even with this like helmet misprint, mine still looks horrible, so this one still wins for helmet, because this one does not turn out good. So I'm definitely loving the helmet on this one. But yeah, overall, I think the AliExpress one wins. The printing quality looks far much better than my decal. So as far as these custom goes, like compared to the official Hasbro products, there are no official Hasbro products to compare these to, because like I said at the beginning of the video, these are 3 named characters that Hasbro hasn't done and probably will never do in the line. And so AliExpress kind of has a monopoly on the market when it comes to these figures, because no other company, because you know Hasbro has the exclusive license to Star Wars figures, and they're not doing these figures. So if you want a Black Series Jesse or a Hardcase or an Appo, you either can buy these knockoff ones or you can buy customs, and customs are very expensive, upwards of $100 if you want good quality ones, or you can buy these $19.99 ones off of AliExpress. So, you know, they almost have a monopoly on the market when it comes to that. So as far as the quality of these figures, compared to some of the Hasbro versions, they are very, very similar, but also very different in several ways. For example, these versions have a lot looser joints, so I can pick this up and bend this like this, and it's like a loose joint compared to Hasbro's, where it's more of a clickier joint, and that just really depends on your preference, which one you like more. Another example is the AliExpress ones have a glossier finish to their plastic, while Hasbro's are more of a matte finish. But I think the biggest difference is like the toughness of the plastic. AliExpress's is like a very tough plastic, where these different bendable pieces are really, really hard to move, whereas Hasbro's versions are very soft and they bend and they're malleable. So again, it's more of a personal preference, but they are different. But as far as quality goes, they're still very similar at the same time. It's kind of hard to explain. Anyway, moving into comparisons, first up we do have the AliExpress Waxer and Boil on both the right and left, and these are looking great. Obviously all of these are the knockoff clones, but they're still looking really, really good all next to each other. Up after that we do have the official Hasbro Clone Wars Anakin and the Captain Rex. Both of those are official figures, but like I said, they still kind of blend in perfectly fine with these AliExpress figures. I know to like me, who's had a lot of experience with real Black Series, it's not necessarily easy to find the difference, but you can definitely tell in little subtle ways. But to the casual fan, you'd never know the difference. Next up, we do have, again, the official Hasbro ARC Trooper Echo and the official Hasbro Clone Pilot Hawk on both sides, and they blend in perfectly. The color correction on all of these, like the blue, is so very similar that like I said, it's very hard to tell the difference. The blues are almost a perfect match, and I really love that they were able to kind of like make the blues consistent among all these figures. And then last up for comparisons, we do have the Archive 501st, which is on that original clone body from Hasbro, and we do have the Gaming Greats Jet Trooper, another official Hasbro figure. Like I said, all looking great. This one is a little bit of a different shade of blue, but that is to be expected because that blue is kind of like the 501st blue they had before they made the modern change to make them all the same color. So really loving this, and they look great together. Let's go ahead and get a full 501st money shot. And of course, here is that full 501st money shot, and it is looking incredible. I think that these AliExpress figures will make a perfect addition to anybody's collection, and they will blend right in. You are going to be the only person that knows the difference, to be honest, because they look like Hasbro's figures, and they blend in perfectly with Hasbro's figures. So I'm really happy with how these guys turned out, and overall, like I said, there is the ethical dilemma that is kind of brought up when purchasing these figures, but I think the fact that these are non-Hasbro released decos, like Hasbro's probably never going to make these figures, and so it only leaves you with this option or expensive customs. And so I think at that point, I'm going to say for these specific versions of the characters, these named characters like Jesse, Appo, and Hardcase, I'm going to say I think it's okay to go ahead and buy knockoff clones. When it comes to like the 2/12th or the like 3/32nd, when they're decos that Hasbro's already made, they're already made figures, then I think that's when the ethical dilemma starts to come up to where I think you probably shouldn't get knockoffs. But for these specific characters, I think overall it's okay.
I actually think that if you want some of these figures like a Jesse or Hardcase and you don't want to pay those expensive custom prices, go ahead and buy these AliExpress figures. They're going to look closest to your actual collection. They're going to match and fit in perfectly, and they are rather cheap. So overall, I think they are worth buying, and I do think that they will fit into your collection very nicely. So if you did enjoy, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.